Hello everybody, it's Mac here, and today I'm going to talk about the Homing Launcher in GTA 5 and GTA Online, and why I still think that it needs to be nerfed even more. So if you don't know what the Homing Launcher is, it's a weapon that they added to GTA Online in the Festive Surprise update, and it is a weapon that's basically an RPG, but you can lock onto vehicles, you can lock onto airplanes, helicopters, and you can also free fire it. Now, in the highest update, which is patch 1.21 or patch 1.07, they actually changed the homing launcher a little bit. So, what they did was, and this is coming from the official patch notes, they say, the homing launcher has been rebalanced to have increased reload times, reduced fire rate, and an increase to the resilience of large capacity planes against it. Now, that may sound nice. You know, you're like, oh, why are you talking about this again? Why do you think it needs to be nerfed more? And the reason is because the way that they nerfed it isn't all that helpful to the weapon. I mean, you got increased reload times. I mean, it's a single fire weapon. What do you, like, the reload time itself is kind of long in a way, but it only takes 1 to maybe 2 hits to take out an enemy. Like 1 for a helicopter. So if you can get your first shot, well then that doesn't mean anything. And then reduced fire rate, it's a single fire weapon. I still don't understand what the reduced firing rate would mean, because it's a single shot weapon. And an increase to the resilience of large capacity planes against it. So that's cool, I guess. I think that's like the Titan and stuff is now like 2 or 3 hits, which is kind of nice. But the problem with that is helicopters haven't been touched on. Which is probably why I feel like this weapon is blatantly overpowered. I feel like this weapon, sure, like in a jet, you're still kind of at a disadvantage in a lot of situations. But at least in a jet, not only are you faster than a helicopter, you're way more maneuverable. You can do lots more loops. You can do a lot more rolls, and you can do that in a helicopter or an airplane quite easily. Especially like a P996 laser, you can kind of evade homing launchers way easier. Not only can you fly out of the radius of where they can lock onto you in most situations, you can also break the lock on quite easily. While it's not, perfect against the homing launcher if you're in a jet, it's still better than a helicopter. The problem with helicopters is, one, you're pretty slow. I mean, sure, some helicopters are quite fast, like the Swift and stuff, but for the most part, you're not going to be able to outrun it unless you're on the very edge of where they can lock on. Then that may work, but the problem with it is also in helicopters, you can't really do loops, or you can't really try to break that lock on. There's a few ways you can, and I know you can, but it's way harder to do it in a helicopter than a jet. Most of the time, if you get hit by a homing launcher, if you're getting knocked on, you're basically doomed to die. Now, I mean, you can try to go in passive and then do that. That only works on next gen anyways. You could try and like go through a few buildings to try and break the lock on that way. But for the most part, if you're near the guy, you're gonna die. And that's kind of my problem with the homing launcher. And while personally I don't spend the most time in jets or helicopters and stuff, I do like flying them, and I do like not necessarily killing a lot of people, but if they try to kill me and I'm in a helicopter or an airplane, and I'm of course try to kill them. And it's even worse if you're in like a slow moving plane, like let's say a Cuban 800 or a crop duster, a Vellum or something. You're basically doomed to die because those planes are so slow. And it's like, even if you're in a passenger plane or a passenger helicopter, you're just minding your own business, you're just flying around, they could still kill you. They can still kill you in 1 hit, maybe 2, for a few airplanes and stuff. But they can still kill you. If I'm just flying around, I'm minding my own business, I'm just flying around, maybe doing a few stunts with airplanes and stuff, and just somebody thinks, oh, I'm gonna kill this guy with the homing launcher, they could still do that. I know what they're trying to do with the homing launcher. I know what they're trying to do. Rockstar, in a way, wants to make it so that players on the ground aren't getting destroyed by airplanes and helicopters. But at the same time, they still add these vehicles like the Hydra and like the Savage and like the Valkyrie that can go around and kill people in the air. And it's also worse because you can also lock on to other vehicles. And I have a few solutions to this, or I don't know if you could call them a solution, at least ways to make the homing launcher not as overpowered. One is to just remove it from the game. It's probably the most least likely thing that they would actually do to actually nerf it again. The thing is, if they remove it, then they just lost out on, I guess, potential money sales, because the homing launcher itself is like almost $80,000. They also, I mean, they probably put time into the homing launcher, and they are like, well, why would we take it out if it's already in the game? So, I mean, while I think that would be the best solution to it, because I feel like the homing launcher itself is just flawed in a lot of ways, I don't think that would be the best way to go about it. Another way that a lot of people have given suggestions on how to do this, and one thing I keep hearing is just add flares. Just add flares to your helicopter, which say you press a certain button, and flares shoot out, which say you get 2, maybe 3 flares a time, and each time you're in a helicopter, and those may recharge after a certain, like, let's say a few minutes, you'll get new flares. That would work. I mean, not only would it make better players that know how to use countermeasures and know how to release flares at good times, they can release flares at good time and break the lock on, and then they can get out of there. The only problem is, I mean, sure, we have flares already in the game. You guys know how laggy GTA Online is. Like, it is very laggy, and I don't know how well flares would work. You know, would say you release flares, but, you know, somebody, they're like a few seconds ahead of you because, you know, they shoot. You have to release flares, and like, would it only work if they're actually still locking on? Like, if they fire a rocket? Like, I just don't know how well the lag would work in your benefit, because GTA Online is very laggy. Like, let's be honest, especially in free roam, it's very laggy. Another thing I want to say is that I think they should actually make every vehicle in the game take at least, or every air vehicle at least take 2 hits to take down. So that would mean every helicopter, every airplane should take at least 2 hits to take down. Maybe some of the more advanced, or some of the more bigger and more armored vehicles could probably take 3. So, like, let's say maybe the Cargo Bob, since that's bulletproof. Let's say the Titan, the Miljet, maybe the Luxor, stuff like that, where you have either a lot of people in them, because, like, if you have 10 people in a Luxor, and somebody just wants to go around and blow you up with homing launcher, then they're gonna get 10 kills. Easy. Which I don't think that's right. Even if you're, like, in a helicopter or something, just, like, do you think that you should really get a quad feed just because you just took out a homing launcher that didn't take much skill? I mean, it really doesn't. It really doesn't take much skill to just press LT, lock onto a helicopter, and press RT. It doesn't take much skill. Maybe they should make it so that higher levels should have the gun. Like, let's say, like, 150 or so. But I don't think that they can do that any longer, since a lot of people already have the homing launcher, so I don't think that you can actually do that. And, you know, even, you know, and I'm gonna have a video talking about that whole system where DLC weapons are, you know, you can get them at rank 1, because I feel like that whole system in general is just not all that great, and I think it needs a lot of improvements to it. But, you know, for the homing launcher at least, sure, it is an $80,000 thing, but from Rockstar's perspective, if they made it so that only a certain number of people could actually buy it, or, you know, a certain number of people that are high ranks could buy it, sure, they are kind of losing out sales on the actual gun, but you have to keep in mind that the Hydra, the Savage, the Buzzard, the Annihilator, the Valkyrie, all of the air vehicles that have guns, pretty much all of them are like almost $2 million, and even the Hydra's like $3 million, which $3 million in GTA Online, if you buy a shark card, that's nearly $50. So $50 for a vehicle, and Rockstar probably has lost out a few sales on that Hydra. and the Savage and the Valkyrie and all those vehicles. The Valkyrie isn't as bad because you can have a pilot going to passive, but it's still like I don't think that should be the way that you should have to counteract the homing launcher. So you have to deal with the Hydra. So for the thing is if somebody's like, oh, I really want the Hydra, but that's $3 million, and then they're like, you know what, I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not gonna spend my money on the Hydra, which is $3 million, mind you. I'm not gonna spend my money on it because of the homing launcher, and I'll just keep getting killed by the homing launcher. They probably have lost out a few sales. We don't know. Nobody really knows, except for Rockstar, how much money, how many sales they have of the Hydra, and how good their shark card sales are. But don't you think, now that most people have the homing launcher anyways, that if they nerfed it, more people would buy the Hydra, and not just the Hydra, the Valkyrie, the Savage, the Buzzard, all those. People would probably buy them much more. So from a business standpoint, I think that it should be nerfed, so that more people would buy the Hydra, the Savage. I've been holding off buying the Hydra because of this, because of the homing launcher, and honestly, I haven't been using the Savage much unless it's like maybe in a mission, or I'm just by myself in a session because of the homing launcher. And I'll just, there's very little chance to actually break the lock on of the homing launcher, or to actually avoid it, because not only does pretty much everybody have it, it's just so overpowered, and I really want it to be nerfed, and to not maybe be taken out the game, but I think that it really needs to be nerfed sometime. So the ways I would nerf it is just to add flares so that you have a certain number of flares. Make it so that every helicopter and every air vehicle takes at least 2 hits to take down. One would probably disable the vehicle, and then one will actually blow it up, or kind of disable the vehicle. I guess I know, like in a jet, if you get hit by a homing launcher, you're still alive, but your engines kind of fail and stuff. I think that should be for every vehicle. So I made a support ticket on the Rockstar website, on the Rockstar support page. If you want to go like it, or just take a little bit of time to like it and see if we can actually get this nerfed again, because I doubt we will. But who knows really. I mean, a lot of people, and this is basically from what I've seen, a lot of people do want the homing launcher to be nerfed, or at least taken out. Even people that really like the homing launcher, I think a lot of people that still like it, I've heard they also want it to be nerfed. Let me know your thoughts on the homing launcher in the comments, and what way would you nerf them, or would you even nerf it at all? If you would like to nerf it, then let me know which ways you would nerf it, or would you take it out of the game? Would you add flares? Would you make it so that it has a slower travel time, or something like that? Let me know in the comments. Hope you enjoy. Feedback is always appreciated, and I'll see you guys in the next video.